And on tonight's show, I want to welcome my guest, Joy Brockhoff.
That's right.
Thanks for coming on, Joy.
Yes, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. You had to come on the show and share with our viewers who you are and what you're doing and what you're about and such like that. So now, what is Kairos Therapy?
Okay.
Yes.
Kairos is a body-centered energy therapy for emotional and physical healing. So the premise behind Kairos is that underlying all pain and is emotion that's trapped in the body. So from physical discomfort to deep pain to emotional trauma.
That's really interesting. So how does emotion become trapped in the body?
So it can happen in two main ways. The first would be instinctual. So if someone comes up behind you as an example and scares you, the normal reaction is to breathe in tightly and get very, very small. Will it be like an animal in nature that's prey? They want to become very quiet and very, very still. Another example of instinctual is, oh my God, if I feel that, my heart's going to break.
Okay.
Or if I let my anger out, I might hurt someone. The other way that it happens is we're socialized that way. So good examples of that are adults or older children getting after someone that's smaller and maybe even shaking the finger saying, stop that crying, you're just a baby.
Oh, okay.
Or women expressing anger could be considered aggressive, and men expressing emotion other than anger could be considered weak. Now these are generalizations, but you get the meaning.
Yeah, definitely, because I know if you hold a lot of different emotions in, it can create a lot of different blockages and such like that.
Yeah, dis-ease or disease, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely does. So now what does a session look like, for an example?
So first thing I'd like to say is that Kairos can be done anywhere, but in a session, in my session room, you're on a special bed that is a hammock-style bed, and I place my hands above and around your body, above, below, and around your body to run energy through the emotional centers that are related to a trauma you might have shared with me, or I might work at a place in your body where you say you're having physical pain.
Oh.
If the client is fully clothed, and they can be covered in a blanket if they find that comforting. Yeah.
So what do you like? Is it like a real hammock you use?
I initially started out with a massage table and foam pads on the table, and then that allowed me to reach between the foams and under the body. And this particular table has a hammock. It's kind of like you're sort of suspended in air, but it's the same purpose, so that I can get under the body with comfort for the client and for me.
That's really unique, actually.
It is, yeah.
But I wouldn't even think of that, because I thought hammock, that is different than the average table for sure. So what's the difference, though, really between, let's say, Reiki compared to the Kairos treatment and therapy?
Well, it looks the same. We're using the natural energy flows in our arms and hands. So it looks like Reiki in that regard. We're using specific protocols to allow emotion to come to the surface. And what we do by using the flows in our arms and hands and working in specific centers, it allows the client's body to relax and soften, and then the emotion can come to the surface. So I guess how it differs from Reiki is probably perhaps the intent, but I think a lot of Reiki practitioners might work with emotion as well.
That's interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
So what kinds of issues will Kairos therapy really, really help with?
People come for all sorts of reasons. Abuse of any kind, emotional, mental, physical, sexual, separation. People come if they're leaving a job or leaving a relationship. Physical pain of all kinds, migraines, backaches, joint aches, low self-esteem, anxiety, panic attacks. they can come for various reasons. Yeah.
How long does a session, so let's say if I wanted to book a session with you, what's the process to go through that? Do you have paperwork to fill out? Or?
Yes, yep. I have clients fill out a questionnaire, and for new clients we do a minimum of 3 sessions. Sometimes people get everything they need in 3 sessions. More often people will want to come back and do more sessions. Usually if they're dealing with a deep emotional trauma, it takes more sessions. The client is in the driver's seat, it's up to them, and they'll base it on how they feel after the sessions.
They will, definitely.
Yeah.
So how long does it normally take to do a session? Is it an hour, or is it?
So the sessions are an hour and a half to an hour and 3/4. Sometimes they'll run longer. We run energy, there's a brief interview period before and after, and we run energy for an hour and 1/4 or longer. I usually start doing that during the interview session to begin with, so I get more flows in during the session.
So what outcomes do you think
the client will have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm sure everybody's different, of course.
Sure. So what I find is people feel more inside themselves. They feel more like themselves, more centered, more grounded. They feel more energetic and happier and lighter. You have a greater sense of self. It's like coming home to who you really are.
I just felt that energy, actually, just
you?
when you said that.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks.
like a white kind of being energy just around you.
That's
That's
great.
interesting.
That's good.
So for a client, let's say to fill out the paperwork, can they pick it up, the paperwork, and bring it back, or do you make them sit down and fill out the paperwork before the session starts?
Well, I
or-
usually connect with clients and we have a conversation before we decide if we want to work together. And I will email them the questionnaire. They can email it back. They can drop it off if they want to, find out where I live and do a dry run that way. But it's usually done by email.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what got you into Kairos?
Kairos?
Like what decision did you think, you know what, that's the energy work that I want to get myself involved with?
Yes, I have trained in lots of therapies over the years. It was very life-changing for me, actually, and it helped me a lot. And I became more confident and more centered, and I found that it was just a very good therapy for myself, so much so I wanted to share that with others. So I like it. I resonate with this therapy. I'm good at this therapy. It's my favorite one to do. Yeah.
It just really clicked and resonate, and you thought, you know what, I just now want to really study with this energy and stuff.
That's true. That's true.
Do you do it on yourself? Like, can you do the therapy on yourself at all?
Yeah, you can do self flows, and I'll often teach clients that if they've come for sessions for a while, I'll show them how to do it for themselves. Actually, this reminds me, I want to remind, or I want to bring this up actually and remind us all. The way that emotion completes is through breath, and so anytime anyone calls me, I just encourage them to breathe into all emotions and all feelings, and that allows it to complete.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah, so if they never came for a session, they have that tool.
Definitely. So if somebody wanted to get more information from you or to come see you or book an appointment, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, they can reach me through the kairostherapy.com website, and I have brochures all around the city in different places. They can look me up in the phone book and phone me.
Wonderful. So how long, Joy, have you been doing this for, the treatments? And
I took my first training in 1997, February, so 20 years.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's quite.
That's a long time.
It is a long time. And it's so true, though. I know, like, the more that we worry about things, we can create different things to come on with our bodies. Yeah.
That's the worry is behind ulcers, the stomach. Yes, it's a big one. Yeah.
Because I know even with myself, if I get stressed out or worried, we all go through that. It affects me, and then my body heats up, and then I'm like, no, not another hot flash.
So just keep breathing into any feelings that that you're aware of. Yeah, even after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you have a memory of something, breathe into the feelings that surface, and that helps to complete the emotion.
It does, because even when I tell people is, people, they want to hide the feeling because they're like, I don't want to go there because it's a painful memory or situation. I'm like, you have to go there.
Yes.
You have to deal with that head on. That's the only way you have to resolve it, is from within, to release it, to let it go.
Yeah, and usually people feel that they're more afraid to feel the feeling. Then the fear is worse than actually going through it. Let's put it that way.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and
you feel so good at the other side.
Yeah, it's like you got to face your fears.
Yeah,
got to face your fears, because I know this week I've been a little more busier, because we had the full moon Virgo energy on Sunday.
Yes, yeah.
And it does affect your sleep. And this was an energy where, of course, reviewing the past 6 weeks, what we've done, what changes, what projects we're working on, things are coming forward, or things are getting shown right in front of us. It's like, okay, you need to change this. What isn't working? So we can be up saying, what do we do about this? What do we do about that? Well, deal with it and deal with the problem head on.
Right, I agree with that, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
because physically, then I'll be sending them to joy.
And just like people need to be open when they come to you, that you like them to be open so that you can do your magic.
Yeah.
Well, the people have better results when they come for sessions when they're open and willing to feel the feelings.
It is, because if somebody comes, we were talking about this earlier actually, because if somebody comes, and they want a session done, either if it's like by myself or by you as well, and if they come in with a bad attitude or their guards up, it's like, why are you even here? You have to open and surrender, and then everything will just flow properly.
I think with Kairos, people learn how to receive the therapy. So that's why we do a minimum of 3 sessions to start with. If we just did 1, they might not really get the full benefit. But if they have 3 in a row, they usually know how to receive it, and they've had the results that they need. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Initial results, yeah.
Yeah. Can somebody feel like the results right away normally, or what the average person really? If they're open, I'm imagining, like if they come in more closed and kind of like skeptic or something.
People usually feel better after a session. Sometimes people come all bottled up and they have a lot of emotion. But the purpose of the therapy isn't to make people cry or to get them to be emotional. It's about to support them in feeling to completion the trapped, painful emotion. They usually feel better, and sometimes it brings stuff up. And again, that's why we do 3 sessions. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. Do you work with animals at all? Have you ever?
I have worked with animals.
Have you?
I have.
Oh, okay.
We don't train to work with animals, but a flow is a flow and it works. And I have worked with animals, and they respond very well.
Yeah, because I know
it.
they get built up too with emotions and stuff.
And if I don't have animals myself, but if I've been working and doing a lot of Kairos therapy, and then I'm in the presence of animals, they are just around me because they pick up on the energy. They really like it.
So if somebody, let's say, wanted to take a course and learn more about the energy. Yeah, what is the best way for them to go about it, and what would you recommend that they do?
Currently training is offered in the States, in California, and in the United Kingdom, where our head office is, but or the head association office is. I have a waiting list for people who want to take training in Canada, but right now it's in the States. Yeah.
So are you going to start teaching?
They would like me to, so you tell me? No, I'm just kidding. It's there in the future for sure.
Yeah, I would look into it. I would do it.
It's wonderful. Well, many people come for personal development and self-awareness. That's what the first 2 seminars are about. And then if people want to go further, then they can take more training and work with a mentor.
So how long does it take? Like if I said, okay, I wanna now learn how to do it.
People can fast track and get it done in a couple of years, but it's as quick as people want to take, but they need to take 3 series of seminars, and the seminars are 4 days each, a level 1, level 2, or A and B. Yeah.
Do you recommend somebody kind of take it back to back to back, or because I know with some healing practitioners, whatever energies they're working with. They're like, you know what, we want you to take, let's say, level 1, and this is how it works.
Yeah.
But we want you to have that space to ground that, to come back and take level 2.
Yeah. So sometimes we offer level 1 over a 4-day weekend, have a few days break, and then level 2 over the next 4-day weekend. Because people are flying in from far away, that's the most economical way to do it. But it is really important to have time and space in between each set of seminars. And you, as you're interning, you work with clients, you keep notes, you work with a mentor, so you need that space of time in between so you can learn.
Yeah. So let's say if I said, okay, I have some emotional issues, for instance. How would you know where, like what part of the body to start working on?
Okay, so that's why we have a questionnaire and an interview before each session. Depending on what is up for the client at that time, I know which emotional center to go to. So for instance, we hold grief in our heart, situational fear in our solar plexus, anxiety, anger. The belly is about anything to do with self, from confidence to shame. Then the root, and the emotional centers are in the same places as the chakras. And then the root is about terror and survival things.
Do you use any type of essential oils at all, or is it?
No, I don't for the session, and sometimes I'm very careful about that. Some people are very sensitive to that sort of thing, so no, we don't use it.
Do you ever find that your hands cramp up at all? Like
No.
if there's certain areas in the body, let's say, that you can feel tension, like do you feel tingles in your hands?
Well, we just allow it through. My hands will get very hot usually in a session, and that's what I notice. And I stay in each center and in each position until I feel a pulse, and then I know that the energy is flowing in that areas. So that's a sensation that I feel. Yeah.
What age groups? Like if somebody said, you know what, I have my son or my daughter is like 4 years old, let's say, or do you work with children as well?
It works really well with children. They respond very quickly.
Yeah.
But I work with all ages and in all places. I've worked in hospitals on people as well. Yeah. Yeah.
That would be really good, especially if, you know, even at the hospice or something, after when people are dealing with their loved ones soon to pass, you know, to
work with them.
Yeah, that would be a really good idea.
It helps with them.
Exactly.
And it helps with the people who are passing. It helps them to be more comfortable and perhaps ready for that transition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, that was amazing, and we're already getting the wrap-up sign here.
Great.
Already, and I want to
great.
thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. I will see you next Wednesday night.